So we changed both the amplitude and we've shifted the high water period from the winter to the summer. Not completely, but a lot. It shifted the period of high water. Okay, now let's go back to look at this particular area here. So in 1900, now this looks like a natural area. Not even think about it. Not a natural area. From here down, pretty natural. Here up, not so natural. We had some of the robber barons who had hotels. They had people to feed. They wanted to have a garden. So, put a big dike across here. Big old engine, pump out the water here. Not much water coming up from the uplands, so you could do that. Great place to grow vegetables in the summer. So around 1900, now I'm not sure exactly the dates, this had been drained. All this vegetation had been cut down. All the animals left. All the plants that normally were here were out of here. And they grew vegetables for the hotels. Now, at some point, someone figured out that's a little bit expensive. So they discontinued it. So the water started going back up here again, and guess what? This started to look like what was down here. Okay? But still, we had a problem with the pike. The pike were like, I have no place to lay my eggs. Now, what the scientists, the fisheries guys have figured out is that you got to have this, the cattail stuff, pikes don't get in there. They're too big. They like the small, low grass, emergent plants, okay? Not much down there. So, in comes the scientist today. Why is it such that we can't get these pike to spawn up here? Why are these cattails coming in? Well, one of the things they have found is that muskrat are very important in controlling the cattail here. Well, how come? Well, muskrat got to eat. Muskrat like the roots or the fibers, the tubers of these cattails, and so they munch away. Now, if you lower the water in the winter, cell phone. What is it? Turn it off. I got to think about that. Actually, I should turn mine on. Good. Okay. So, what they found is that when they keep the water low in the winter, the muskrats can't survive. They get frozen out. Naturally, the water was up pretty high in the winter. Muskrats could live in their huts and continue to eat on the tubers of these plants. So, by having the water low in the winter, the muskrats could survive and tend to push back the cattails. Wow, this opens itself for an experiment. So, 3 years ago, with the help of the Fish and Wildlife Service and Ducks Unlimited, Tilt entered into an agreement to put this little dike across here with a fish ladder. Right here. And the theory was, and they're looking at this right now, if we have this fish ladder and we hold the water high in the winter, maybe the muskrats will come back, chew away the cattails, open up the area for more emergent plants, and have more habitat for pike. And so the studies are ongoing right now with SUNY, the biologists over the ESF, where they're coming in here and they're looking at muskrat populations, and they're looking at whether or not the pike are spawning up in these areas again. Now, to make this a little bit more complicated, and this is the thing that drives me crazy as a former scientist, I'm retired now, I don't do this stuff, is that then someone says, well, if we made some channels up here, maybe we could improve this. Now I'm thinking, how are you going to do this and do this other study at the same time, and you got these two different, what factor were these controlling this? we don't really know. So anyhow, they went in there and they dug these big ditches a year ago, and we go back there and look today, you think, where were those ditches? Well, the natural system filled it in pretty quick. So what we've got going here in this site that was not very natural because of the fact that it had been drained, pumped, and then allowed to reestablish it. And we got a change in the water regime on the St. Lawrence, okay, which shifted from high winter water to now low winter water. We've brought the amplitude of high water and low water down, so it's a much narrower band. And so here we're out here trying to fuss and figure out whether this kind of a regime here will actually work and help bring back the pike fishery. And so it's a pretty grand experiment in the works here to look at how this whole system works. And the reason we're involved is because we own the land, the South Island Land Trust owns the land area around this thing, and we like to cooperate with, you know, the other agencies that are doing that sort of thing. Be interesting to see if you all come back to the bike ride in 10 years, and I'm sure you all are young enough to do that. You'll be back here, and we'll hopefully have some more information about what's happening. Now, what we're finding is that, in fact, pike are up in there, and they're spawning, and they're coming downstream. Now, not without problems. But you think, fish ladder. I see a lot of water running over there. Well, the fact is there's not a lot of water running over there. So we don't quite know what the impact of having kept that water up there in essentially a stagnant state, if you will. I put that in quotes because I don't really know whether it is stagnant or not. Because what I know as a biologist, having flushing, water coming in and water going out. Now, it's not like what I'm experiencing. When I talk about water coming in and coming out as a biologist, you got to remember, I come from the saltwater part of the world where the tide pumps in, like it or not, twice a day. Up here, we don't get the water pumping in that way, but we do get the water pumping in. Does anybody know how? Come on. How does the water level change here?
Rain.
Rain, okay. Where? Rain coming in from the Great Lakes, pretty slow process. If it rains up there in Minnesota, right? It takes a hell of a while to get down here. Okay? Or, if we have a huge rainstorm here, we can get rain coming down through here. But there's another way this system operates, is that if it blows hard out of the northwest, it drives the water out of the lake up into this part of the St. Lawrence River, so you may get a change in, if those of you who have boathouses and boats know that you may have as much as a foot in the middle of the summer change overnight, just for the water being pushed in, and then if the front goes by and it comes out of the east again, pushes it back into the lake. So you do get some pulsing, and that pulsing, that biological pulsing of energy of the water level, seems to have a real impact on what happens.